Vipin and I am Group CIO for Duroflex, and I will be speaking on data first organization. Now you all might be getting confused, what does a mattress company has to do with high-end data analytics and data science, right? So, but we are a D2C brand, and I will just set up a little bit of context, what Duroflex has a vision and why Duroflex wants to be a data first company and embed data in all the decisions that Duroflex is making, right? So Duroflex is a D2C company. It was a traditional firm. In the last 5 years, half of the business has moved to D2C. There are two major e-commerce websites that are there, two major e-commerce brands, and then we have opened our own consumer stores, which is company operated and company owned, right? So from that point of view, and mattress being a category, it is like a category where consumer comes and that consumer repeat only comes after 7 to 10 years. It is not like many of the FMCG products or products where there is a lifetime value of the consumer. Consumer comes in every 6 months, 1 year, so you engage with him, drive a lot of consumer loyalty and all that. So it becomes very important for us. Once a consumer lands to us, we convert him, and it is a high value item, right? So from that point of view, it is very important to understand consumer psyche, understand what drives the consumer. So we are at Duroflex on our websites as well as in the digital marketing side, as well as analytics, as well as improving the process efficiencies in the back-end factories and supply chain. We are using a lot of data, and at least we aspire to, right? And now the topic is a very generic topic, which is data first organization. Everybody would have heard about it. Every company has a strategy around data strategy. What should we do with data? How does it fit with us? How do we become a data first company? In various degrees, every company tries to reach to a certain stage. So what I will do is I will start with fundamentals. All of you might be aware, but I will just go through that first. The fundamentals, if you see the attributes of data, like how it comes into our data lake and all, there are 3 V's, which is volume, velocity and variety, right? Volume, it can be terabytes of records, transaction tables, files, offline, online, what we call data lake. It has to consume anything and everything that is related to an organization, whether it is competition data, whether it is offline set of data, whether it is actual transactions or the transaction systems that we have built or analytical system that we have built. Then batch, it can come in batches. It can be real time or real time. It can come into streams like video, audio and all that, because a lot of consumers are calling us every now and then on our CRM system. We have a 80 people strong CRM team for both the brands, and a lot of consumers call. Now we might not be able to record everything in the system, but how do we generate keywords which we can pull out and make sense out of that from the video call recordings that we have, right? So that velocity that is there. Then in terms of variety, it can be structured, unstructured, semi-structured, or any way it can come. It can be audio, video and any other thing also. So from that point of view, the first fundamental is the attributes of data, and second is what kind of analytics we want to generate out of data. It can be hindsight, it can be insight, foresight. So there are different modes of analytics that we can do. Descriptive, which describes like your normal sales reports, wherein you are reviewing your sales performance, exactly trying to see what has happened, right, historically. Diagnostic analysis, if something has gone wrong, you will try to understand, to pinpoint exactly by your analysis what levers are actually showing wrong and where it is going wrong, right? So you can exactly find the reason, take corrective actions. Predictive will tell you exactly what are the different options available, different kind of end outcomes. By running a set of data, you do demand forecasting, right? You do a lot of other things which actually tells and predicts the business scenarios. And prescriptive is actually which tells you, you do this, then only you will get an outcome, right? So there are like if we have, we are doing a lot of performance marketing spends. So how do I make a model which will exactly tell me that if I have to take a 30% growth on my baseline forecast, suppose the plan, organic plan without any marketing or digital marketing intervention is say 100 units I can sell. If I have to make it 150, what do I need to do? I need to go and spend, right? Performance marketing, digital, any other digital marketing mode or any other like billboarding, anything I want to do. So I do a spend analytics and I exactly try to understand which initiatives in which geography will give what kind of ROI. So I can plan properly. But if there is a model, ML model, which can actually prescribe that this is the season, these are the macroeconomic factors, and you need to run all these kind of initiations in the market, so that you do that. So that is prescriptive. Just to tell you, I am not a very kind of, I am a CIO, but I am a very business focused CIO because I have worked mostly in consumer goods company and business scenarios. So my use cases, my core belief mainly is that data has to serve some purpose, it has to solve some real business issues, right? And that is where it germinates. It is not important that everything is high-end technical, that descriptive is bad, prescriptive is good, whatever serves the use cases. So there is no hierarchy, but the value and degree of benefit that comes is very, very high when you go prescriptive. Moving to the next, these are the kind of scenarios. I will just move fast. So descriptive, it will tell what happened, what's happening, what actions are needed. Predictive will tell why is this happening, what will happen next, and why will it happen. And prescriptive will exactly tell you what should I do, why should I do it, what's the best that can happen, what if we try this. So it will tell a lot of things wherein it will help you to take right actions, or it might take actions on your behalf also. So what entails a data first organization? This is a McKinsey study on insights value chain. You can see there is strategy and vision, and then there is an operating model, and this is a data operating model, right? It is very important that all these things are in sync. Your data is in place, your analytics is in place, IT is in place. So there are technical foundations, then business foundations like people, process. Until unless all of this are in place, right? This I am talking about a business, right? Not a service based company. This is a business majorly. If all these things are in place, then only you can actually get a lot of business benefits. So you, as you can see, it is written, you are only as good as the weakest link in the insight value chain. So on the data side, if you see, there are new data sources, then the orchestration of data, which is all the modeling, dimensions, measures, whatever you are creating to structure data. If there are data coming from 30, 40 different streams, how do you join different set of data and kind of make a model which is consumable for a business outcome, right? Unstructured data, then we also need to take care of privacy and legal considerations. Data security is a big thing, right? So all these things have to be in place. If you are weak in any of the areas and if you want to become a data first company, it will be a very difficult task for you, right? Analytics, so descriptive, classical, predictive, I talked about it. Machine learning, wherein you develop algorithms that learns by itself. Like I did a project when I was in Page Industries, wherein we were trying to deploy an assortment planning tool. But how do I plan assortment? It cannot be a one-time model, right? Even if I do clustering of all my distributors, suppose I have 4,000 distributors, I do clustering that this kind of model has to run on this kind of distributor set. But that distributor is also evolving. So how do I make sure that it actually reacts to the demand in the market, right? And if the market situation changes, the clustering should change, and automatically the ML should catch it and try to give a very different model, and automatically it should be able to recalibrate it. So that's the thought. So then cognitive modeling, which is like replicating human behavior, human thinking, right? How can it take actions which are intelligent? Optimizations and simulations for doing what if analysis. So in Duroflex, what we are doing is we are trying to create a digital twin for our foam production unit, wherein we are using one of the very best tools, which is AspenTech, which is a leader in chemical industry softwares, right? There we are creating a digital twin and we are trying to do a lot of simulations, because we cannot run so many batches, production batches, and then try to identify which are the exact levers which is resulting in the quality depreciation or the quality of foam that is produced, if it is a low quality, or their productivity, if it is say 80% now, ideally it should be 80%, why is there 5% rejection, right? So if I am able to build a model and exactly understand scientifically derived algorithm which can tell if levers are this, temperature, humidity, a day of the time, any other thing like the chemical preparation is this much, chemical management has to be done like this. So these levers are there. If these parameters are like this, what will be the end outcome? So that when my foaming person is actually doing the production, he can actually get a right setting of the machines, right, which he can go and set, and I can get a good quality output. Then on the IT side, the cloud sourcing, horizontal scaling, very, very important. Rather than having a big pace where you have terabytes and terabytes of data, you can, how do you make it agnostic of SQL or any other structured relationship database? Analytical programming languages, you have to build talent as well as you need to have those in your landscape. Data visualization tool, in-memory analytics, lot of applications have it today like S4HANA. The IT stack has to be there, right? On the people side, there has to be a cultural change, wherein the company has to have a data culture, the company have to become a data first company. So it is the biggest mistake in digital transformation or in kind of a data transformation also, the companies do is that they think that this is a baby of IT and digital, but that is not the case. Ultimately, the data strategy and the business strategy has to match. It cannot run in isolation. If you are running it in isolation, then there is a big problem, because it is not about R&D. It is, at the end of the day, what I am trying to tell is it has to solve a proper real business issue or a business case, right? So it has to drive from there. So it is very important that the entire organization, you have to identify business champions. Those guys would have to work along with you. They have to own the entire analytics program that you are deploying, right? And then they will have to validate, understand, because they are business champions and they can take it forward from there. So it is very important to bring the cultural change. Everybody has to talk data. If there is a dashboard deployed, if there is an insight or action that has to be taken, it has to be taken basis the output that the analytics program is giving. Data enabled decision making has to be made part of the culture. You have to define the role profiles, like if there are business champions, inside there are like a proper backend teams, visualization teams, business analysts, right? You have to make sure that you deploy a proper team in the organization. Then analytics talent, organization has to be set up, the analytics organization within the IT team. Then the processes, you have to adopt the business processes, automation, then data and analytics governance, cross functionality. These are all like different processes that are running in the company. There has to be adoption of the processes, there has to be automation, then there has to be an agile process wherein we are connecting with consumers much more better. Only if we have all this, then only, because operating model is mostly operations, right? How you operate your business and what kind of interventions, processes and everything you have. But if it has to, if there is a strategy and vision to become a data first company, or if there is a strategy and vision to take database decisions and all that, so all this intermittent part has to play a role and everything has to be strong. Unless we do that, we cannot become a data first company. So this is my last slide. The key success, the key success factors, if you see, I think there is a confusion. I will come here on the business case first and then I will move as a conclusion slide. So the business case, if you see, there can be a top line use cases which typically helps the company for consumer facing activities like sales, for consumer engagement, consumer experience, right, building brands and all that. So these use cases can enhance activities in the area of pricing. If there is a conversion which is not happening for consumer, cross selling, upselling, promotions, optimization to drive growth. All the top line use cases, you can, if you are a data first company and you deploy this model, there can be a lot of improvements that can come in this. There can be a big top line benefit, right? Bottom line cases, which is around supply chain optimizations, process optimizations, running factories better, right? So all these things can be, you can take up, and then there can be a lot of IoT devices that you can deploy. Like these days, we are also thinking as a mattress company to deploy an IoT device within the mattress. Boat is doing a wearable like on the kind of, they are giving some watches, right, wherein the entire data of the consumers are getting captured so that they can build that entire database and later on generate a lot of insight about their consumers and sell better. Then there can be new business models altogether, where like many companies have been established which are only consuming this data and bridging the gap and providing insights, right? Or within the company also you can identify a lot of white spaces wherein there is a lot of value that is unlocked, right? Value that is locked, and you can actually identify and unlock the value. For example, in FMCG, what we can do is, what I tried to do when I was in Marico is that I tried to extrapolate on an India map all the outlets that I had and what kind of sale I had against each outlet, right? And then I tried to, with the degree of sale, I tried to put some color. Then I extrapolated similar categories from Unilever, right? And Bajaj, is also into hair oil. And then I tried to see which are the white spaces where the degree, the cashment sale is there, but I am not able to actually, Marico is not able to actually capture the market. So then we can get a strategy. Why not do a expansion there? Why not have a better BTL, ATL programs and try to have better marketing initiatives to initiate and get activated in the market? So I will move back. So the final conclusion is that the key success factors, and how do we define, how can we become a data first company? What are the fundamentals? So the first and foremost fundamental is there has to be a clear business need. It cannot be a data program without a goal and objective, right? It needs to have a strong committed sponsorship, that you need to ensure that your MD, CEO and your leadership is bought into this, and you have to create that ecosystem. Then there has to be an alignment between business and IT strategy. Exactly what I was speaking is that if there is a business goal, the data program that you are running has to be in alignment with the business goal. If company is focusing on profit maximization, you need to work on that. If company is focusing on growth, you need to work on that. So you need to exactly understand what is the business objective, and your IT and data strategy has to be aligned. Then it has to be a fact-based decision making culture. In all the meetings, it cannot be a random talk. You have to ensure that people show data, and then they will automatically start using the entire analytics programs that you are running. A strong data infrastructure has to be there in terms of IT infrastructure as well as people. The right analytics tool needs to be there, and you need to have personals with advanced analytical skill. So that has to be there in IT teams, in digital teams as well as the business teams. So all of them have to understand what we can get out of it, what is practical, what is not practical, what it takes to build a model, what are the inputs that are important and mandatory. So that's it. I think that's the conclusion. So basically it has to be all in all like an effort which is required for the entire organization, rather than like only IT and digital team driving this entire thing. So it has to serve a business case. Thank you. Any questions?